Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today I'm with Jason. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Excited.
Great. So, what have you been up to today? Because it's the afternoon.
I'm pretty chilled at the minute. I'm waiting to start my next job. So rather than have downtime in London, I was very lucky that my partner is currently performing in Moulin Rouge in the Netherlands, in Utrecht.
Wow.
So yeah, so rather than rather than hustle life and find a job in the UK and pay rent in London, I came to live here for free for 2 months. So I'm kind of a man of leisure at the minute, and the sun's decided to come out. So my day has been an iced coffee and a cupcake, walking down a canal with my dog, and that's kind of it.
Oh my goodness.
So
Well,
I
it's
can't
all right
complain.
for some.
I know, which is why when you were like, do you want to come on the podcast? I was like, please, I need something in my diary. I'm a month in and I'm starting to climb the walls a little bit now. I'm not very good at not doing anything, but I'm trying to force myself to chill before rehearsals start.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. For the people listening, do you want to announce what that job is?
Yes, I am joining the original West End cast of Hercules at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane.
Wow, what a job. I can't believe it's
Yeah,
coming to the
crazy.
West End. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait to come and see it.
It's gonna be huge. We've had our first costume fit in a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of those where like you can't really see the costumes. It's kind of just basic designs on you, but already
Mm.
like the costumes for the gods and the muses and stuff are just stunning. Like that was really cool, and the set looks like it's gonna be massive. That theatre, I was lucky enough to do Frozen original cast in that theatre as well, and it's like going to work in a palace every day after the refurb they did. It's
Oh,
just so
that
beautiful,
theatre
and the
is
nicest people in that building.
nice.
Yeah, everyone from stage door all the way through the auditorium to front of house, every single person was just so happy and welcoming in that building. So I'm so excited to go back. It'll be really fun.
That's so special. Yeah, come back and do Hercules.
Yeah.
Two Disneys there.
To Disney. To Disney. I know. I'm such a Disney adult. Like people hate that, people judge it, whatever, but I'm such a Disney adult because I was brought up on Disney. And my now the only two original London casts that I've been lucky enough to be like an OLC are both Disney shows. I was like, of course, it makes sense. It was gonna
Happening.
happen.
So, Jason, let's cast it back to growing up. Were you always destined for the stage?
Some say destined, some say forced. My mum's a ballroom and Latin teacher.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we started dancing. I've got an older brother who actually did end up going into musical theatre as well. He's just taken a step away to be a family man for a little bit. But yeah, so I think I always joke that mum wanted a daughter after she's had the original son, and then I was born, and she just went, "Nah, this one will dance anyway." Um, but I mean, yeah, I one of those typical stories that I think all dancers have, like from grandparents and everyone, of you never sat still, you were always moving, you were always
Yeah, yeah.
so full of energy. Um, but I think it wasn't even like a test of shall we put him into dance. It was my mum was dancing. She also used to choreograph for an amateur dramatics company. Um, so she would be up making something up in the living room, and one day she turned around and I was behind her bopping away, like joining in. She kind of went, I know what to do with this. So yeah, that was it. I think I started dancing at about 4 or 5 years old, um, doing amateur dramatics, doing the local pantomime. Mum put me into, obviously I did ballroom and Latin with her, and she put me into ballet, tap, modern, the usual. And that was it. That's all I knew outside of school until, well, yeah, until I went to college. And that was the I think that was the only thing that I ever really told people I wanted to do. If anyone asked what I was going to do, I'm going to dance. I'm going to be on stage.
Yeah, that's a lovely story as well. The fact that it was kind of like your mum's career and then it's come down to you. It's nice that it stayed in the family.
Yeah.
When you were at school and you realized you wanted to do it as a career, how was that alongside your academics? Because you've just mentioned you did so many dance styles that maybe that could work.
Um, I was quite lucky, I think, with the school that I went to were very accommodating with it. Um, for example, when I was doing my GCSEs, I really wanted to do GCSE dance, and I went to an all boys school that didn't offer it. So we sourced a local community college that did do GCSE dance and reached out to my school and said, "Look, I would really like to do this for myself and for what I want to do as my profession. Is that possible?" And they were like, "Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of extra work because you're going to have to miss some of school." So I dropped one of my subjects from my school's like GCSE curriculum, and I used to go to this college on Thursday and Friday afternoons, go and do my GCSE dance. It was only a year's course, so I did it in year 10. And then in year 11, I just had a free period when everyone else was doing their work. So I got to do all my homework at school, which was great. Um, yeah, I think also me and my brother are both quite academic. So I saw, I'm also very competitive. So I saw his grades and I made sure that I could beat them every time. Um, so I think I was quite good. And I think it's probably for my parents as well. I was quite good at kind of separating them. Um, which was maybe a good thing that I didn't do performance at my school. I think if it had been not necessarily a theatre school, but I think if my actual school had dance in it or drama in it, I would have been so focused on that I wouldn't have thought about the other subjects. But because they were two different buildings, like when I'm here, I'm sitting, I'm doing maths, English, French, all of this. Like this is my schoolwork. I need to have this, and then I can leave the building and go and do performing arts somewhere else.
For the listeners who are in that stage that you were at, where you've realized you want it to be your career, but say this listener's school isn't that helpful with the next steps, what would you say the first port of call would be?
Oh, good question. Um, I feel like it's doable in terms of not having a connection with the school. From like I said a minute ago about just separating them and dividing them. Like I think a good thing for people to know is how late some people do go into their training for musical theatre and for the industry. Like I was at college with people that were like, I've never done a dance class in my life. They were natural actors, natural singers. The college saw that and kind of went, "Oh, we can mold this, it's fine." I don't obviously want to take away the importance of any kind of like schoolwork. And I do think that up to GCSEs, like A levels, I can't speak for because I didn't do them, but up to GCSEs, that stuff is important. Like you do need focus on actual schoolwork. Um, and also that time, like as a human being, like the development that you get through going through school and experiencing
Yeah.
that and like the exam vibe and everything, like that is really important. I think outside of it, what would it's really tough because it depends on the area that you're in and like the accessibility to theatre that you get, because obviously it's very different in different places where you come from. I'm lucky that I'm originally not too far north of London, that we came to London quite a lot when I was growing up to watch shows. So that was kind of my incentive of, even if I don't feel connected necessarily in my hometown to it, and I'm currently doing my SATs or my GCSEs or whatever, blah blah blah, I still got that inspiration every time I went to London and saw a show, and kind of
Yeah.
enough to go, this isn't a hobby, this is something I want to do. Like even from a young age, looking at programs and seeing where people trained or like seeing their agents and stuff, like I don't know where that came from, but I just naturally had that drive to want to know. And I think that's because I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, nice.
So my main tip would just be immerse yourself in any opportunity that you can get. So if any nearby college is doing a workshop that you can get to, or if a dance school is doing a workshop with a teacher that's been in a show you love or worked on a film that you've seen or anything like that, like I managed to get out of just my local dance school and get these experiences from different places, because I think only by immersing yourself in those experiences will you find out that it's something that you actually want to do and it's not just a hobby. Because it's
Yeah.
fine either way. Like if you just want to dance as a hobby and a way to keep fit, I think everyone should dance purely and simply for things like the discipline it teaches you, physical fitness, socializing, confidence, things like that. Like the reason they send football players to ballet, because for posture, things like this, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so important. So I do, and if it wants to just be a hobby, that's absolutely fine. But I think by making those connections and going and seeing not necessarily musicals, if you want seeing arena like concert arena tours and you want to be a commercial performer, or seeing all these movie musicals that are on TV and stuff now, like by immersing yourself in it, you'll know whether it's something you want to do seriously. Which I think some people find out when they get to college, which is also fine. Like audition, go to
Yeah.
college, and then a lot of people go, "This isn't this isn't for me." Um, but yeah, so I'd say first steps, I would just say take any opportunity that you can get with both hands, and just it's it's amazing to love something, and it's also fine to not enjoy it and go, "Oh, this isn't for me." That's fine, but you won't know that unless you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Um, think that answered the question. I babble so much
Yeah, for
sometimes. I'm
sure.
like,
No,
wait, how did this relate to the original question? Yeah, so
no,
I
that's
think
great
school
advice.
school focus like really good, and outside of it, just be open to learning and experiencing as many different things around theatre, around performance, around dance that you can, and that will lead you. Gut feeling is my main thing on anything, on any part of working in this industry. I always say my gut is my actual agent. Because no matter what I've been put up for, what offer I've got, if it doesn't feel right, it's a no from me. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that applies to that as well. Even when I was younger, there were chances to go to like younger theatre colleges rather than do my GCSEs at home. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I was like, it's not right. I'm too young. It doesn't feel right. And I didn't go away. And I feel there's a reason that I felt that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's different for
follow your
everyone
gut,
as well.
immerse yourself.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Um,
completely.
so obviously you have been on stage a lot since leaving college. Do you have like one moment that you'll always remember from maybe a show you've done, like a funny memory on stage, that you think back on and you think, oh, that was just the best time?
Ooh, I've got a few.
Go on.
How long have we got? Um, my first one that really sticks out. Chicago was always like one of my favorite shows. I don't know what it was that pulled me to it. I mean, I'm a massive Fosse fan, always have been, always will be. Um, and I've got a memory. In fact, I think there's a picture somewhere at home. My mum took me to see Chicago in London when it was at the Adelphi Theatre, so like original West End place. And they had a cast board out front. And I worked out that, well, there was a gap between the bottom cast member and the MD. And alphabetically, it's where my name would have fit. So I took a photo pointing at it saying, this, mum, this will be my name one day. And then Chicago was my West End debut. So we've got a picture of me outside. It was at the Cambridge by this point. There's a picture of me outside the Cambridge pointing at my name on the cast board the night that my mum came to watch me when I was in it. So like that is such a strong memory for me. Like I love
Oh,
anytime I
that's
walk past the
cute.
Cambridge now, I just get like a flash of it. And I just remember seeing her in the audience, like beaming, watching me.
Oh,
Um, so that's one of mine. Another one that is quite recent, but is probably the most powerful on stage moment, and I don't think will ever leave me, was Frozen. Was the first show that I did after COVID, that horrible period of time that we all hated. Um, and we obviously have been pushed back because of COVID, and Disney dealt with it brilliantly. Everything they did was so good, so that when we opened, we pretty much stayed open the whole time. We had one tiny little lockdown over, or shutdown, sorry, over Christmas. But that first time that we did the show, so the show begins, we off stage sing, blah blah blah. It starts with the two young princesses, and then we all start a big choral on the na na hiya na na na, and the curtain flew out. And we, before our first show, we had an invited friends and family, and they only basically filled, because the desks were all still in the stalls. It only really filled the circle, but the sound, it literally tears me up now. The sound of our friends and family when that curtain went out, and we were all just stood there like theatre is back. I don't even know how we sang. We probably didn't. If I listened from up front, it was probably silent because we were all like, you just felt everyone on stage like emotion just like pouring. Oh, it was so powerful. Yeah, it was so powerful. I will never ever forget that moment. In terms of laughing on stage, I would say every single day of my contract in Wicked, the group of people was just so perfect, but at the same time so chaotic that something happened every single day that made me laugh. I swear I laughed on and off stage nearly every day in that building for a whole year.
What track has been the most complex on and off stage? So, for example, like all the backstage traffic that a track might have, and the track that's just had been the busiest. What has that been for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, do you know what? One of my busiest definitely was I did my cavity in cats.
Oh, wow.
And really busy because the track is known as Macavity, but
Yeah.
you're actually on Macavity for like 6 minutes of the whole show.
The
He's got
song.
body doubles at other places and stuff, but you're only actually seen as Macavity for the fight. That's it.
Yeah.
So the rest of the track, in the UK, it's normally in meters. I did it in Germany, so it was called Plato. Is I swear, or I don't know if it's just the version that we did, but he was always one of the first on stage and one of the last to leave every numbers. So like
Oh,
when the ball's finished and everyone's dying and runs off stage, I was still stood on the tire, like protecting old Deuteronomy, but like hyperventilating, like, please can I just go off stage? Like watching Grisabella come on, like, I'm dying, like, please let me off. Um, and so like that was he was a really busy, it was brilliant, but he was a very busy track, did a lot of the ball, did most of like top to end of dance numbers. And the only time he didn't is when you get off stage to get into Macavity, you do the fight, and then you have to get out of Macavity and back into your ensemble track
wow.
for like the end finale. So that was run into the cabin, like we were in, it was like a marquee circus tent. So we were like in porter cabins as changing rooms. So it was like running there, and I had like 4 wigs, makeup, and wardrobe crew around me. One of my dresses was literally under my desk so that she could take my leg warmers, my shoes, all of this stuff off. Like unitard over the top, other leg warmers and stuff, full wig change, full makeup change. Like the makeup's designed so you can paint my cavity over the top of it, basically.
Yeah.
I think it worked out about 6 to 8 minutes to get into Macavity, and then it was like 2.5 to get out and back into your own ensemble track. So that was like wig off, costume being done for you, and I used to have to baby wipe everything except my eyes and my top lip, baby wipe all of that, and then try and like make up and blend when you're sweating, try and like blend and powder it back in. So everyone looks really cute in the finale, and your face is just like melting off, like and then on a 2 show day, you're just like, oh, I have to start all over again.
Yeah. I want to
I'd
ask
say that
this
was,
because,
yeah, that was probably my most hectic. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Moulin Rouge is quite hectic backstage in
Oh,
London as
right.
well because the theatre's really small.
Uh,
So like rather than be able to get to a quick change area, it was like, oh, when you leave this person, you'll get changed in that corridor, and then when you come off the next time, you'll be in a stairwell, and then you'll go underneath, but then you go up to your dressing room, and you were like, wait, I was trying to think about my onstage track. What the hell do I do backstage? Like backstage was chaos.
that's hilarious. I've always wanted to ask someone that's done cats this question. With the makeup, what do you do if you're a natural sweater and it just starts dripping off your face? Surely there's some like super strong setting spray that you can use for
Um, no, not really. A
that.
lot of powder. A
Yeah,
lot of powder. Do you know what? It was the cat's makeup, maybe because more of it's like face paint makeup. That stayed a lot better than like drag makeup and kinky boots. That was a nightmare. That used to
yeah.
come off all the time, like especially the eyebrow glue. I'm such a sweater. So yeah, I did not look pretty in that show. But do you know what? There was a weird trick that someone told me in it, and I get scared telling other people in case it goes wrong. When he told me, I was like, "You're joking." I've just spent. I mean, when I started, it used to take me about 2.5 hours to paint my face, and it was still awful by the time I'd finished it. I was like, "I don't understand. It's so bad. It's taking me so long." Um, but when you'd done it and like powdered your layers, he used to get a bucket of ice cold water and just dip his face into the water,
Oh my
pull it out,
goodness.
and just dab it dry. And I was like, surely that's a lie. Like, surely that's gonna just pull my makeup off. But it actually really worked.
Oh
I find
wow.
setting sprays make my skin really tacky, and then it ends up just sweating off in like bigger clumps anyway. But
Yeah.
powder kind of did manage to do enough for it.
Yeah. Powder in a bowl of ice
I feel like
water,
that's
apparently.
as well that like I don't know about other people. I find I sweat more when I stop. Like while I'm doing stuff, crazy, crazy, crazy. As soon as I stop, that's when the sweat comes out.
Yeah,
And I guess the
your
good
body's
thing about
like,
cats is you don't really stop. So it's the end of the show, you stop and then it all comes out. So it's kind of like, no, it's fine by now.
oh, brilliant. So in the future, I know you've probably already ticked off a few of your dream roles and shows, but is there a role that you haven't played yet that you just would absolutely love to do in the future?
Tarzan, hands down,
Oh,
every time.
that would be
I
so
would. I mean,
cool.
I've got a lot to be fair. I would love to do. I would love to do Tarzan. I'm gutted it's never come to the UK.
Never say never.
I would love to play something. I would have loved Bert and Mary Poppins was always one. I think
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting to the old end of his spectrum now, so I feel like I might have missed that boat. Um, New shows that I can't probably be. I'd love to do Shakespeare in and Juliet as well. I'd love
Oh
to do William
yeah,
Shakespeare in that.
that's a great role. Oh,
Because their
brilliant.
costumes are so cool. I'm such a fan of a costume. If someone gets a
Yeah.
nice costume, no matter what they're doing, I'm like, yeah, I want to wear that.
Oh, brilliant. Do you think you'd be interested to go into like the more creative side of the industry?
100%. I've been very lucky that I have, through being dance captain and stuff, I have been on the other side of the table for auditions,
Yeah.
helping out as dance captain, and I love seeing how that works. And then over the last couple of years, from Frozen, I call it the show that keeps on giving. I was assistant dance captain in London on it, and then I was lucky enough to get asked to come out to Holland, funnily enough, where I currently am, and I assisted setting up the show over here. So I
Brilliant.
worked as an assistant choreographer on it over here, and it was so. It's so funny how it's so opposite side of what we do, but just felt so natural as well.
Oh, nice.
And that kind of really opens my eyes that I don't want to be a choreographer. The thought of a blank piece of music and someone going make up your own ideas terrifies me.
Yeah.
Like even at college, we had to choreograph our own numbers. I was like, I don't like it. Can someone do my number for me? Um, but I love puzzle solving. So I've assisted a few choreographers and I love them going, I want something like this, but I need to work out this, this, and this. And I'm like, go and
Yeah.
get a coffee. Give me 5 minutes. Like, this is what I do. So yeah, I would love assistant associate choreographer route. I definitely see for myself. I'm in
Great.
a weird toss up where I'm like, there's parts I'd love, and I love that side as well. And I kind of want to be. There are people that have done it before, but I want to be one of those people that can do both, rather
Yeah.
than I think the industry is so good at pigeonholing, and oh,
Gotta
you're a
keep stuff
dancer, you're
open.
going to do. Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to go. Oh, we know what you're good at. We'll do this. And I want to go.
Yeah.
Ah, I can also do this.
Yeah. Oh, great. So the last question I always ask my guests, which I don't even think is that popular, everyone kind of goes, "Oh, it's such a hard question to ask them." But
Darren Carnell, and he'll hate me for saying this
it's
because he's a very dear friend of mine, and I've worked with him. But he also came into Leigh Theatre Arts to teach a workshop at one point, and I was like, this man is he is a whirlwind of talent. He also hates the fact that I remember watching him in shows before I even went to college, before I even knew that I wanted to go to Lanes. I saw him in shows and was like, oh my God, like I want to dance like him. I want to perform like him. He's one of the people that I went, oh, he went to Lane Theatre Arts. That's where I want to go. Um, but he's also like, not only is he such a knowledge, he's also one of the loveliest, most grounded, humble, hardworking people. And I think for everyone, but especially as a male in this industry, like a male identifying performer in this industry, he is such a role model and such an inspiration of how it should be done and how supportive, and no matter how far your career has gone and how much you've learned, you can always learn more. But just supporting the community, the things he does for the community of theatre as well, is just so powerful and inspirational. Yeah, he's gonna hate me for saying that. I want a clip of this. I'm just gonna send it to him. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you make me sound old," but hey, I wish I could dance like he still can. He's incredible. Thank you for having me.